right, welcome. Day 3 of Google Next. Woohoo! We're going to start our panel. It's called Unlock Cloud Value for Everyone with Google Cloud FinOps Tools. So I want to thank everybody for showing up after a Wednesday evening party with LL Cool J. We're going to get into some pretty exciting product announcements, so hopefully we'll make your time worthwhile. I always like to say, save the best for last, so that's what we're going to hope to deliver on this session. So Milan and myself are both responsible for all of the billing FinOps tooling and data that you hopefully use on a daily basis to manage all your cloud spend. And we're going to focus this presentation in the following 3 areas. So hopefully by the time we're done today, you will have left with a greater appreciation for how Google Cloud Billing is thinking about the FinOps space. Additionally, you will also hopefully have knowledge on some new product announcements and stuff for you to be able to take advantage of. And then lastly, we'll leave you with some takeaways for you to get involved in the Google Cloud Community FinOps organizations. So there's always a way for you to work with us, and we'll talk a little bit about how you can do that as well. So to start with, within cloud billing, it's really interesting because sometimes it's kind of like a detective agency a little bit with when our customers call with mysterious cloud spend questions. So maybe do any of these stories sound familiar? We had, and these are true accounts, obviously their identities are anonymous. We had one customer who overspent in just 3 days actually because a development team launched some new custom cores that weren't currently covered by their current resource-based committed use discounts. We had another customer who had an R&D team run some really interesting experiments over the weekend and left that running. And we also had another customer call in curious about their spend, and it turns out that they had resources that were being used by development that they weren't actually aware of. And so these are just 3 examples, but the spend that was unallocated for was actually quite substantial.
So a show of hands, how many of you have actually faced this situation that Sarah just explained? Many. So clearly you're not alone, right? In fact, there was a survey conducted by FinOps asking our cloud customers on the top challenges that they face and what are the organization priorities that they have to overcome them. Let's start with the challenges that was shared, and I'll just go through the top 3 challenges. One of the major things that have happened with the onset of cloud is the shift in the procurement function. Earlier in an on-premise environment, the procurement was all centralized, driven by a procurement department with a particular CapEx budget, and there was no questions about managing the budget in the middle of the year. But now with cloud, the procurement buying function has more or less turned towards an engineer who can instantiate a resource whenever they want. This change in the procurement process also means that there is a need for us to empower the engineers so that they can take the right decisions and the right actions. Every single engineer needs to take responsibility for the cost, and there is a challenge to land the data in the engineer's path so that they can understand the cost and understand the economic impact because of the decisions that they take. This also kind of ties back with the 3rd challenge that you see over there, which is how do you make sure that there is an adoption of FinOps process in the organization where you can tie finance, engineering, and business teams together. The next key challenge that every customer shared was finding out the unit economics of what they are spending. It is not about the total cost. Like, for example, it's okay if your cost has doubled, but if your customer base has increased by 10 times. It's mostly about the unit economics, which is what is the cost that you are spending for serving a particular customer or processing a particular transaction or serving a customer inquiry. And how do we find the unit cost? So now let's see if those are the top 3 challenges that the organizations shared. What is that they require as a priority, or what is that they require the cloud operations to support them? One, they want to understand the cost at a more granular level through the process of tagging, labels, hierarchy resources, make sure they have the right allocations so that they can get to the right unit cost. They want to establish a FinOps culture so everybody is responsible for cost. It's just not the finance or procurement as it was earlier. And then look at opportunities of improving resource utilization and right-sizing the resources and cutting down any waste costs so that they can ultimately contribute to better unit economics. You will see as we go along how we have features, and some of the features that we are going to announce today directly contribute to these priorities that the organizations want to achieve. You are aware of these pillars of FinOps. You must have seen this multiple times in the last 2 days, which is inform, operate, and optimize. What we have here is how Google Cloud has productized these pillars and given you specific tools under each of these pillars so that you can manage your cloud business in a more efficient way. So for example, in the inform pillar, we have tools that help you view your cost, allocate your cost, calculate the unit economics. In the optimize pillar, we have tools to help you estimate cost, discover where you have savings opportunities. In the operate pillar, we have tools like budgeting and forecasting that make sure that you're never surprised by the cost element. In fact, we want to enable a world in which 100% of costs are visible, allocated, and your cloud is efficient. And this you will see, again, a lot of announcements that will happen in the next 20, 25 minutes all contribute to this particular philosophy.
Thanks, Milan. All right, so let's get into it. We'll start first with our inform pillar, all around making sure that you have basic cost allocation capabilities and that you can power your unit economics. So we know that there are still primary challenges here. It's not easy, and we're trying to obviously show as a FinOps organization, how is cloud making you money? So we've really focused within the product development side on ensuring that you have the proper data and tooling to support this by first focusing on making sure that you have that timely, granular cost data. And you might say, well, Sarah, doesn't everyone do this within the cloud service provider community? And I would say that actually Google Cloud Billing does this a little bit differently. We actually provide rich BigQuery exports at one click actually within the billing console, so you don't have to set up a big data pipeline or a data storage. You also get updates of granular costs up to 8 times a day actually through the BigQuery exports, depending on the service. And fun fact, within Cloud Billing, we actually use BigQuery as our data store. We actually process billions and billions of rows of data every day. And we are currently increasing the level of granular cost data. So I don't know if you've noticed, quietly this year, we've actually increased our coverage by 20%. We now have granular cost coverage for App Engine at the instance level, Spanner at the instance level, Firestore at the instance level, and now this month we actually have BigQuery at the jobs and datasets level. So this is all available within the detailed BigQuery export. So if you're not using it, you should check it out. All of the granular cost data, again, sub-resource cost data, all in there, all available, all out of the box. And data in the BigQuery export really becomes a centralized data store, and it allows you to have those conversations with other members within your organization around how to do cost allocation and how that data actually supports the cost optimization activities that you may want to have. So again, using that data is a really strong support to start those conversations with other stakeholders within your organization. Now, once you have all of this data stored centrally in BigQuery, the other thing is, we may not be the only cloud service provider you're using. That's why Google Cloud is actually a founding member of the FinOps Foundation and the FinOps Open Billing Standards Project, FOCUS. We're committed to driving open billing standards, and the version 0.5 release is a specification that allows customers to unify resource names across cloud service providers and to understand their net cost fields. But this is just the start. There's a robust roadmap that we as Google Cloud are contributing to, but also our customers are and the larger ecosystem. We want to make it easier for customers to understand their cloud costs, because being open is really a part of Google's DNA. We've contributed to foundational internet technologies over the past 20 years. This just falls quite in line with our overall mission and purpose. Secondly, we don't want you spending a lot of time trying to decipher your cloud bills. We want you to be spending time on innovating and leapfrogging your competition. And lastly, we really believe that open, high-quality data is non-negotiable, and that also goes for your cost data. Now, this wouldn't be Google Next this year if we didn't talk about Gen AI. And Gen AI and cloud billing are no strangers. In fact, we believe that LLMs have the power to unlock the business and technical divide that sometimes can occur when deciphering Google Cloud bills. And what better place to use this technology than within billing? So we're super excited to announce our partnership with Do.it/AI to bring the power of AI assistance to the Google Cloud Billing Console. Now you can use Do.it/AI to provide assistance with answering questions on how to use the Google Cloud billing tools to their fullest extent. Another interesting activity that we worked with the Do.it/AI team as well as the Cloud FinOps Foundation was putting Do.it/AI to the actual FinOps IQ test. We worked with the FinOps Foundation, and we actually had Do.it/AI pass a similar exam to the FinOps Certified Practitioner exam with flying colors. In fact, Do.it/AI actually picked out a couple of ambiguities in a couple of the questions quite quickly. Google Cloud has a very robust roadmap for unlocking the power of Gen AI that actually prioritizes accuracy first. So this is just the start of this collaboration, and you will see us unlocking this technology further and further within the billing console. All right, that was the inform pillar. Now let's get into another very interesting area, optimization. So once you have established your cost transparency, you understand what's driving your costs, you understand how those costs are working, then the next logical step is how are you going to optimize those costs? And optimization is clearly an area of interest and top of mind for our customers right now. And it's a really rewarding area of product development. Sometimes we get from our customers, what's in it for Google Cloud to actually save us money on our cloud bill? And I'll tell you that within cloud billing, we don't want your bad money. We want your good money. We want to make sure that you're getting the most out of what you spend with Google Cloud. And this is a really important area for us from an investment standpoint, from a tooling standpoint. So we're super, super excited to talk to you about some development we've had under wraps this year. Today, we actually launched a live product today, which is super exciting. So let's get into it on how to help you more with your optimization journeys. So we've heard overwhelmingly from our customers that the job of optimizing and ensuring that your cloud dollar is spent is not quite simple. In fact, reducing waste and ensuring that your culture has an efficient spend still continues to be a challenge. So today we're excited to announce the launch of our new FinOps Hub. This is your one central pane of glass within Google Cloud that is focused exclusively for FinOps. First, I'm going to show you, hopefully, a trailer on all the exciting features of this new FinOps Hub, and then I'll dive into the details of this specific launch. So let's see if our video will play for us.
How do you know if your cloud is running efficiently? The hardest thing about cloud optimization is knowing where to start. Introducing the Google Cloud FinOps Hub, your one place for all cloud cost optimization across Google Cloud exclusively for FinOps. Understand where you should be taking action on events that may have an immediate cost impact, like an unattended project. See where your biggest cost-saving opportunities are across your Google Cloud landscape within seconds. Apply rate and usage optimizations together. The Google Cloud FinOps Hub is backed by Google AI. It prescribes a series of rate and usage optimizations to take, like right-sizing a project and purchasing committed use discounts, together in harmony to gain the most effective optimization. But cloud optimization is not a one-time exercise. Real cloud efficiency is achieved through establishing a robust FinOps practice. That's also where FinOps Hub can help. The Google Cloud FinOps Score provides an analysis of how well you are using Google Cloud data and tools to inform on costs, optimize spend, and day-to-day operate your cloud. Learn how you can improve your FinOps score through your very own personalized report. Additionally, with Google Cloud Peer Benchmarks, you can now see how your FinOps practices and rate optimizations compare with industry peers, giving additional context to your performance with the ability to opt out at any time. Lastly, the FinOps Hub keeps track of your optimization records through a total savings ledger based on applied optimizations. Prove your optimization business case, but most important, don't forget to celebrate all your optimization wins. The Google Cloud FinOps Hub makes cloud optimization easy, regardless of where you are in your FinOps journey. Unlock maximum cloud value today.
There's a lot to unpack there. So let's dive into what we just watched. First, we heard from our customers that our rate optimizations, specifically our committed use discount rate optimizations, weren't relevant to their business needs because how much you commit on demand versus through a committed use discount is actually a very personal decision, and it's dependent on variables that, quite frankly, we don't have insight or we can't infer, like your risk tolerance, and we heard you. So now, live, as of August actually, in public preview, you can now configure all of your committed use discount recommendations by specifying a usage threshold. So you can say how much of your coverage you want to cover through committed use discounts, through percentage. And you can also configure recommendations by CUD term. This is the start of our configuration journey. We're going to continue, obviously, to add different personalization options as we grow this feature to make sure that the cost optimizations that you are getting are relevant to your business needs. We also heard from our customers that the optimization journey today, before the FinOps Hub, is fragmented. You actually have to go into a lot of areas within the cloud console to figure out different rate and usage optimizations. So you don't have to do that anymore. Actually, live, as of today, you can check out the QR code. Think of this as your landing page. This is going to be your one-stop shop for optimization for the FinOps community. So when you land on this page, you should understand in seconds where your cost savings opportunities lie, starting with a specific service or even a top-leveled optimization suggestion. In addition to optimization suggestions, there's also quick actions you may want to take that might have a cost impact, such as an expired committed use discount. Now all of these alerts are centralized and you can take action right away. But anyone who's done any type of optimization knows that it's never a one-time and then you're finished. It's a long-term game, and we've found that folks that have mature FinOps practices also tend to be highly optimized. That's why we've launched our own personalized FinOps score, which is an advanced machine learning score based on how you adhere to optimization best practices, including how you monitor your spend, how you optimize your resources, how you commit to committed use discounts, how you look at automated practices through our APIs or through the billing export. But what good is a score without telling you pointers on how you might improve that score? So that's where your own personalized report comes in with suggestions to help you improve that score, such as setting budget alerts through certain areas of spend, or potentially giving view access to certain team members so they can also be aware of their costs. This score also might change without your team taking action. That's okay, because if your resources are getting fully utilized by other team members, this score also automatically reflects that. This is going to be your beacon for how your cloud is optimized throughout your entire organization, and will help you, teach you how to prioritize your FinOps activities. The other thing that we've added with our FinOps score and with our committed use discount coverage is the ability for you to understand how you are comparing to perhaps other folks within your industry, because we get asked this all the time. Is this a good thing? Am I doing well? This is exactly why we have developed our peer benchmarks for both the FinOps Hub and the committed use discount optimization rate calculations. Your peer benchmark is based on multiple dimensions, with no one organization influencing the score by more than 2%, ensuring complete anonymity of your data. If there aren't enough peers in the benchmark, we simply won't calculate it. Customers are opted in by default, but of course, you can opt out of these at any time. But more importantly, you can now understand whether your FinOps practices are on par for your industry. If they're ahead, you can celebrate, or if they're potentially behind, the data is there to help you inform on your FinOps practices priorities. And along with providing a quick place for you to understand where to optimize first, now we are providing the full picture of how you should optimize your entire cloud. It's no longer about doing a committed use discount or right sizing. And in fact, I still remember one customer conversation where he said, hey, your recommendation right sized me out of a committed use discount. That's no longer the case. Actually, all of our recommendations are now context aware of each other. And we've moved the majority of our rich AI-driven cost recommendations into the FinOps Hub. This includes all unattended projects, right sizing, any type of idle cost recommendations, allocation recommenders. Those are all now a part of this FinOps Hub. And while you as a FinOps leader may not be the one to necessarily take action on shutting down an instance or right-sizing an instance, you need to be aware of these optimization opportunities, and you need to be aware so you can work with the engineering teams and know who the engineering teams are to take action on those recommendations. So the first step, obviously, as a centralized FinOps team, is to be aware. And when you're looking at certain rate optimizations through committed use discounts, we now provide you with more details to understand what it is we are recommending and why. So remember how you configured your committed use discount coverage? Well, now these recommendations take into account those preferences. And with rate optimizations that might be able to be used together, such as flex CUDs with standard resource-based CUDs, we are now providing trade-off analysis recommendations. All our cost recommendations are based off of your contractual pricing, and they are super accurate. In some cases, we calculate up from the microsecond granular data level. So please take a look and note that after you apply your recommendations, you need a way to keep a ledger of your wins. This is also a new area that we're expanding on within the FinOps Hub. Keeping track of optimization recommendations and how you're applying these optimizations can be tricky. How can you correlate an activity that you've taken as a FinOps team with an action that someone from another team might have already taken? Well, now, this is where the savings ledger can come in handy. Because we are cloud billing, we are the source of truth for this data. We compute this savings based on your last billing cycle, and we split the savings by the optimization opportunity. This is really, really powerful, and it's just the beginning of how we're going to start to show you how your actions have impacted your organization and your optimizations. We will start by further refining our savings ledger by having time series data. And we will expand this by also including additional optimization activities as the FinOps Hub increases its capabilities. So you'll always have this savings ledger on hand to show how it is your team is optimizing your cloud. That is the end of the optimization. Whew. But we still have one more pillar. We have our operate pillar. The operate pillar is very much on ensuring that once you have your cost coverage in place, once you have your efficient spend, you also need governance and day-to-day tooling to help make sure that everything stays on track. And we know that empowering engineers to take action has been a #1 challenge of our FinOps organizations for several years, in fact. And we also know that while engineers focus on delivering innovation, and now even at breakneck speed, the decisions that they make may also result in significant cost overruns, and they can run through your group budgets very, very quickly. However, if we empowered our engineers to actually create their own budgets and get their own notifications, then perhaps they can get ahead of the cost spend. And this is exactly what we're doing now. We are now helping our customers to decentralize our cost governance by letting project owners and editors view and create budgets for single project scope projects, and also for them to get email notifications. And the interesting thing with Google Cloud Budgets, if you haven't used this tool, is that you can also not only get budget alerts for actual spend, but for forecasted spend amounts as well. This feature is also available for public preview. So again, hopefully you've been scanning the QR codes all along. You can take a look at this and again, try it out. I think it's a really powerful tool. So lastly, time runs very quickly. We've ran through some of these product announcements with our operate, our optimize, our inform pillars. A lot of the times we get asked, hey, how do I work with you guys? How do I join the community? There's a really great group that we have, and this is our Cloud Billing Customer Cohort Program. If you join this, you will get notified on any new product releases, as well as you will get invited on the opportunity to participate in calls where my team outlines all of these new features in detail. In addition, you will be invited to participate in some of our user studies, product feedback, again, joining the community of all of the Google Cloud FinOps practitioners. We've also started a new program to highlight the great work that our Google Cloud FinOps community is doing, and we're calling this the FinOps Visionary Series. We've just launched this, and so if you're interested in participating in this and you have a really interesting story that you'd like to share with the community, you can scan this QR code to sign up, and our writers will get in touch with you. This is a full blog series that is being featured on our Google Cloud blog series. That's what we have for you today. So hopefully some of this has struck some interest. I'm gonna